uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bushka, and today's video is massive. And if you only watch one PUBG Mobile video this whole freaking season, then this is probably the video that you should watch. And everyone that doesn't watch this video is going to be at a competitive disadvantage. I mean, that's a massive call, but I feel like it's a pretty straightforward call. I'm going to show you the numbers for all the weapons at both smooth/extreme frames and smooth/90 frames per second. And I am going to show you the time to kill of all those weapons. I'm going to show you the rates of fire, the time to kill. Now, these weapons do have a time to kill that is based on a level 2 vest, the time to clear that vest, and that's not always perfect. It's an arbitrary number, but it's the most important kind of number you can get because it's literally how long it takes you to clear a target with this weapon in PUBG Mobile if all the shots hit. Now, they are going to be up and down numbers, but for the sake of argument, this is an excellent way of grading out the weapons. How did I do this? Very straightforward. I'm going to run this through very quickly for you. I shot every single weapon twice at smooth/extreme and then twice at smooth/90 frames per second. I cut it in Final Cut Pro, and I did this with an iPad Pro 2020 12.9 inch using native resolution recorded through a USB-C cable, so it's very, very good quality, native quality. The moment that the gun fires the first round is the start point. The moment the gun turns orange is the finish point when there's nothing left in, and I do 2 times for each weapon at each resolution. That way, you know that you're not getting it wrong, okay? Very, very important. Let's first and foremost do the winners and losers. These are the guns that improved during the change from extreme to 90 frames per second. That is the VSS, the M249, the AKM, the DP28, the M762, the Beryl, the M416, G36C, AUG, Vector, Scorpion, and Bison. Some of these improved not very much at all, most notably the DP28 and the AKM. Some of them improved in incredible numbers. The Vector, for instance, dropped a absolutely fat, huge, whopping rate of fire bomb on the world. The ones that got worse, and again, one of these guns, the UMP, only got worse by like a 100th of a second. But the Graza, the Uzi, the Tommy gun really take significant steps back when used at smooth 90 frames per second. Let's talk now about real flat out numbers, the important stuff. And this will kind of bear it out. And I've updated my spreadsheet to reflect this. You can always get to my spreadsheet. I've got a Discord server. I drop these numbers first in the Discord server. The link is in the description below. So if you want to get all this kind of stuff early, go and join my Discord server. There's 10,500 people on it now. So it's not a little thing. Lots of people, good community. Anyway, let's go on with this. Let's talk about the Vector first and foremost, because this weapon has just had an absolutely huge shift, a seismic shift in terms of damage. The rate of fire at Smooth Extreme is 0.062 seconds per round. The rate of fire at Smooth/90 frames per second is 0.051. So that takes it from a time to kill of 0.31, which is middle of the road to say the least, to a time to kill of 0.255, which is absolutely fantastic. And it does it just by changing your graphics settings. So if you're running smooth extreme and you pick up a Vector, it's meh. If you're running smooth 90 frames per second and you pick up a Vector, it's wow. Let's move on to now the second fastest time to kill weapon in PUBG Mobile at smooth 90 frames per second. That's the M249. At 0.081, it was slower in terms of rate of fire than a Graza. At 0.076 seconds to fire off one round in 90 frames, it's faster than a Graza. And it does a 0.228 time to kill, which is a drop on a weapon that was already incredibly good in terms of time to kill. This is the rich getting absolutely richer. Let's talk about some of the ARs. The M762, the Beryl, goes from 0.288 seconds time to kill a level 2 vest to 0.255 seconds time to kill a level 2 vest, which is a very significant drop. It's over 10%, which is an incredible number. The M416, the world's most popular partner in PUBG Mobile, goes from 0.384 seconds time to kill to 0.34 seconds time to kill, which again is like a 10% off the top reduction in time to rip people apart at close range. All these numbers I hear people say just don't really matter. They don't make any difference. That's bollocks. When you're in a gunfight and you finish and you've got like one slither of health left, that's the kind of thing that this makes a huge difference with. Now, if you're using a Tommy gun, let's talk about that. At Smooth Extreme, it's 0.24 time to kill in terms of seconds. 0.24 seconds time to kill if you have to clear a level 2 vest. The 0.255 at Smooth/90 frames per second is worse. So if you're running the Tommy gun and you're at 90 frames per second, you're doing it worse than you would be at Smooth/extreme rates. The Graza is the same, from 0.237 all the way up to 0.255 seconds. What's going on here? Well, there's a lot of speculation, but for instance, we're not certain that Smooth/extreme is running 60 frames per second. If it's running 50 and you're running 90 frames per second, you're now getting more frames. So things that were getting rounded before and taking a hit because of that are no longer taking that hit. Guns that can fire faster are able to fire faster when there's 90 frames per second rendering on the screen. There's another thing called tick rate, which is a whole like you can go down the rabbit hole on this, but the fact of the matter is these are the numbers that pop up on my screen. There are going to be variations. It has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that frame rate dramatically affects the rate of fire in PUBG Mobile. We've done a test on this before, and I've got a video with like 100,000 plus views on it or something where it shows that people on lower end devices running slower devices fire the gun slower than they do people running high end devices. And as devices heat up, your frame rate fluctuates. That's all there is to it. Go and talk to any of the guys running PMCO tournaments and stuff about older phones that they used to have to use playing these tournaments, and how when they heated up, there was quite often a loss of frames. There's a reason that people run water cooling systems on these phones. Like, it's because frames are not going to go your way when your phone is super hot. So right now, these numbers are in the game. I've got a spreadsheet with all of them, outlining everything. The Uzi is just, This is an example of when I tested the Uzi, the actual numbers had changed this patch, even at Smooth/extreme. 0.0472 is a slower rate of fire than it previously was at. And a lot of the guns have changed, like the AKM, like the Uzi, at just Smooth Extreme frames. And the rate of fire at Smooth/90 frames per second is now 0.052, which is a big drop. Like, it's a big drop, which takes it to a very, very pedestrian 0.312 time to kill, which is horrible. That's not even good for an SMG anymore, which is just unfathomable for a whole lot of players who are running around. Now, you might not like these results. I'm happy for you not to like them, and I'm happy for you to do your own work, but I was as thorough as I could possibly be, and it's one of the reasons why I've been putting off doing this video. I knew there was something up with the guns and the rates of fire, and I touched on it, but I wanted to give PUBG Mobile time to really change things up and maybe address this before I went and did a video on it, because it is massively influential in the gameplay, and knowing this is power. Like, having this knowledge in your back pocket, knowing that an Uzi is not going to be as effective for you in close quarters combat at 90 frames per second as a Vector is really, really important. Let's also talk about some really odd things. The number that keeps coming up, 0.255, is a very, very odd thing. Like, and the fact that so many of the ARs and the Bison, for instance, have a 0.096 rate of fire. That's how long it takes per round, and then they drop down to 0.085, and they end up at the same kind of number. It can't be a coincidence. Yet it's not universal. The G36C goes down to 0.085 seconds per round. yet the QBZ95 and the Scaril don't. And that means that those guns are quantitatively worse off than an M416 or an AUG, which both also hit that benchmark. And the fact that you keep getting this 0.255 time to kill across so many weapons now, it feels like it's an intentional balance thing by PUBG Mobile to try and bring things back. Yet the AKM and the DP28 now firing at the same rate of fire, or so close that it's nearly indistinguishable, when the AK was under that magical threshold of, I think it was 0.097. And these numbers distort based on graphical settings. This is really, really important to note. If I've done a video, which I think it's up over 100,000 views now, I haven't checked it for a while, where we absolutely categorically proved that the device and the older devices, their frame rate, lower frame rates, make you fire slower in PUBG Mobile. There's no way around that. That is absolutely true. And so if you're playing and you're running a gun that is, running an older device, and after a while it's super hot, that's going to slow your frame rates down, and that's going to slow the rate of fire on your weapon, and that's going to make the game harder to play. This is just opening Pandora's box. We've got tick rate, we've got different devices running different rates of fire. Like, you can't be certain that Smooth Extreme is even 60 frames per second, which is the mythical number it's supposed to be. And there's no real surprises that you're getting different numbers when, if you're running a Smooth Extreme and it's 40 frames per second, and you then start running Smooth 90 frames per second, and it can start rendering double the frames, well, you're going to get all these rounding errors disappearing, and you're going to get a much truer vision of what the weapon fires at. Hey, the lid's off. Let's figure this out, and let's find out what the hell's going on, because it is absolutely baffling, some of these numbers, the way it's resulting. I'm Bushka. Please remember to come and join the Discord server, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and as always, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.